Dear friends, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. We welcome you to the joint program of the Moria Federation Blue Rose Sisterhood and 2025 initiative. Today is the first day of distribution for the Leo Sirius Festival, and we come together as one group, opening in a way the new cycle of 7 years ahead of us, following the festival week when we all worked together as one group. And today we invite us all to explore the topic of mysteries, ancient mysteries and new emergent mysteries, as we are all part of this new unfolding mystery of our time.
Yes, and welcome. We're going to have Michael Robbins and Tuya Robbins working with us today. And I'm handing the word over to you, Michael.
Okay, thank you, Sasha and Katya. Just to make sure, Michael Stacy and Michael Crow, we are recording, correct? Just want to make sure that this is the case.
Yes.
It looks like it. Looks like we are. All right. Well, each of us will be maybe saying a little something, give you an idea of how we're going to do this. Tuya will be in just a few moments presenting on the ancient Egyptian mysteries, which are the root of modern masonry, which DK considered to be so very important. And modern masonry as well is a reflection of the information and process that we find in initiation, human and solar, where the Tibetan at least, will go through the ceremonial mysteries. Not all of them are ceremonial, not all of them will appear on the physical plane during the Aquarian age, but some of them will. The Christ will be offering the first and second initiation more publicly. The first most publicly, the second a little bit internally, but still on the outer plane. And that time will come, and we are preparing for it in a way. Everything having to do with the true function of the hierarchy is mysterious to us. And the ancient mysteries disappeared a long time ago from the outer plane. There was a great battle in Atlantis about 4 million years ago. We can consult Philip Lindsay for the exact moment. But from that time on, even though the Great White Lodge prevailed, in a manner of speaking, it was decided that there had to be withdrawal of their presence onto the inner planes because humanity needed to stand on its own. So then the mysteries went underground, but in a sense, they always were available in the inner sanctums of the temples. And that's one of the things that Tuya is going to talk about. After all, we are dealing with Sirius right now and with Leo, where we just had the full moon, and it's a very powerful full moon. DK hints that it will be considered more powerful than the Wesak, which will fade in its importance, and a different method will be taken up. But this particular festival is one in which Sanat Kumara and Shambhala recognize the entire hierarchy every year, including all the new members of the hierarchy. And, you know, they're involved in making available, still on the inner planes, the mysteries of initiation. So we're all involved in that, and I just want to say that the more spiritual occultism that we actually learn and can somehow participate in, the more we will be able to help with the externalization of the hierarchy and the reappearance of the Christ. We have the group spirit, we have the love between the individuals. We'll be having more and more of the love energy between the groups, but the occultism on the inner side, of which these Egyptian mysteries are profoundly occult, because, you know, it's a very occult school that's going to be established in Egypt, sort of Ray 1, Ray 4, and Ray 7. We need to know about that. And we need to know about its connection with the initiations, which are the established mysteries on the inner planes, which DK presented. And then later, we can't say when the Great Lord appears and when Master R gets going, some of these things will appear on the outer plane. And then indeed, there will be a restoration of the mystery. So I just like to turn it over. Let's just say, is there anything, before I turn it over to Tuya, Sasha or Katya, is there anything you would like to say?
Yes, I would like to add that, and after Tuya will share with us on the topic of ancient mysteries, we'll each add our understanding of this topic, and we will welcome our circle to share their thoughts. So we'll have time to share and collect our impressions, our thoughts as a group on this topic, and we will end with a meditation. And
yeah, okay, that's good.
In a
Excellent.
way, it will be a free flow. We expect that the meeting will be around 2 hours altogether, but let's go with the flow.
I was hoping for 10 hours, maybe 12 hours. Unfortunately, it might run into something else. Okay. So, very good. Now, basically, Tuya, you would have to do a share your screen and then transfer over. Yeah. Okay. Very good. And just, I'll turn my mic off and you make sure yours is on.
You couldn't hear me because my mic was not on. It is, so welcome also from my part. And if you see some strange things happening on the screen, it is that my mouse is not working well with my new computer. There is something. But anyway, so welcome. This is a wonderful subject. I was very, very fascinated when we were starting to talk with Alexander about this idea. And I hope that all of you, after these 10 hours, you will be also very uplifted, because what are the mysteries? What are they? So there are so many things that we can relate to these mysteries, but in like a shortcut, the mysteries for us are those things which are beyond. It is about divine life, this life what we all are yearning to, where we want to head to, what we are dreaming about, what is fascinating us when we are stimulated, when this wonderful connection is taking over, and suddenly it happens in our personal lives the way that we didn't expect maybe. Or then it can be also that for several years or even lifetimes we have been practicing something which is then suddenly taking us at the door, on the threshold, and then suddenly we have revelation. We have been fulfilling our part in order to go on that level through the door. So in one sense we could say that it is a threshold of the something what is just coming as a reality. It is mystery, how it is happening. So all kinds of things what we can relate to the mysteries. And I try to look the time, Michael, keep my timing, because this is so fascinating that I can be lost into the time and in this whole subject. But some things for us to just have a connection: sacred mysteries, Syrian mysteries, restoration of mysteries, mysteries of initiation, mystery plays, mystery schools, mystery teaching, mystery religions, mystery cults, mystery of Makara, mystery of electricity, mystery of soul. You can continue those mystery of solar angels, mystery of God, and so forth. For us, they are mysteries. So when we talk about mystery schools, religions, we have to realize that they are found in every continent. And they are not only mysteries of masonry or mystery studies. We can expand our consciousness into the Southern Americas and those times of the Temple of Ibis. We think about Egyptian mysteries, Greco-Roman mysteries. They are for Western people more familiar, maybe. Vedic mysteries, Buddhist mysteries, Christian mysteries, and the mysteries which are related to Christ, and that is for us the most important. There are mysteries related to that great brother who we call Christ, and who is called Maitreya, the coming Buddha. And I am asking, please do not mix mysteries with the mystical. It has some connotation, but the mystery, it is mystical and occult, and it is the real life of the soul or even spirit, which is coming onto the lower world. And then let us remember that all around, really all around our planet, there are indigenous mysteries, those mysteries which are in every culture. Every culture has been developing and has had connection to the original. And it has been getting all kinds of shades and all kinds of ways. And what is for us today is that our title was, what was our title? I'm sorry, I forgot that.
Restoration.
And something, the new,
Cooperating with emergent mysteries of our times.
yes.
And co-creating mysteries. Yeah.
Co-creating. And this is very important idea, that when we talk about the mysteries, they are living with us. We are living with them, every single seeking soul is going into the life of mystery. Not only in that period, little period of time, but it is when we think about this, how this little being, whom we can say the incarnated soul, which is a part of the greater whole, and who is going into the pilgrimage. Via the mysteries happens the touch, or the first connections to that what is divine, what is greater. So that's why the co-creating means that we have to, when we evolve in our consciousness, new type of symbols comes into our lives. And this symbolism belongs very much into the mysteries. When we think about the rituals, which are full of symbols, so we have to, and we make a link with the symbol, with the reality, and very often via the other kingdom, which is the angel kingdom, the Devic kingdom, which is like making that bridge in our connection to that source, what is the reality. So when we think about, is that the same thing what I had already? No, some main characteristics, characteristics are those that it was always secret. It was kept secret how to get into the mysteries. It was kept secret. And the secrecy was associated with the particular of these initiations. The ritual or ceremonial practice, all of that was kept secret, which may not be revealed to outsiders. There were very strict laws. You know, those ancient tribes where even you lost your life if you didn't obey this. But it is always with the contact, and the aim was to be contact with the holy or with the divine, with the soul, which is on the other side, which is more real, of the realm of immortality. And then came the revelation in the mystery. And let us remember that initiates in Greco-Roman times, they were called mystics. I like this whole word, mystai. In those times, Eleusinian mysteries were the earliest ones and the most famous of the mystery cults. And it lasted over a millennium, almost 2 millenniums. And whenever it started, but it is considered in history that they were ending around 5th century BC. And they are, this whole Eleusinian mystery is about the myth of Persephone and Demeter, how Persephone, it's a longer story, I have to be quick, but anyway, Persephone was taken into the Hades, meaning like underworld or hell, and then she was rising every once a year. I do not go to those details why she was giving permission, but then Mother was so happy that she let the summer come or the spring come, and all this what was bringing the life into existence. So all these mysteries and mystery plays were telling about that, how to rise from death. So we are in the death realms, we are in the mortal realms, and these mysteries and the mystery ceremonies and plays ought to take us back into life, the real life. So in that, one of the symbols in that ritual is a wheat, a triune wheat, which means that there are 3 leaves, telling again for us about the Trinity, the Holy Trinity, and all those aspects which are related to the body, soul, and the spirit. But it was also the symbol of mysteries. You can find still those symbols in the temples and the churches in earlier times, where you find those 3 wheat leaves, or 3 weeds. We could talk about a lot about all kinds of things, but now, because of this time is related to Leo, we are living the time of the Leo, the lion, and the lion is very interesting thing in myths, because we find lion in several occasions. I just give us a little shortcut, only few, which is related to that important idea that the lion is a personality. And the lion is the one which is actually having the strength and power which the soul is going to use in order to do its job in these mysteries. So we have the star Sirius, which in Egyptian mysteries was called Isis, the goddess Isis. And these all stories about the goddesses, in my opinion, is telling about the solar angelic function in our lives, and also some kind of order in which way the process is going. So when we talk about the Sirius Isis, then we talk about all these light sources, about Ra, which is the sun, and Ra, the god Ra, who was the creator of all. He was the ruler of everything what we could understand. But behind that was the time before Ra was rising. And that was the time where there were waters, great waters of Nut. And in the waters there were serpents. And these serpents were feminine deities, not masculine. And for me, it tells about that time how the solar angels already, or this kind of consciousness, was ready to be brought in. So let us remember, the serpents are now, the feminine deities are in the waters of Nut, the great, great vast sky, the mother sky. And the father, there was a marriage between father and the mother. It wasn't not Ra, it was Geb, who is earth. And earth is always indicate, I'm sorry, I didn't get these images because my internet was dropping out and I had some problems in it. So anyway, Geb, the earth. So we talk about the mother earth and the father sky. But for Egyptians, were mother sky and father earth. And earth Geb was always in the point of erection, because he was always in union with the sky, the mother. So the Sekhmet is the daughter of the sun, this kind of lioness figure, and is very important in those myths again, what Sekhmet is doing. Her story is that it's like Kali power, this kind of primordial power of the mother, which is so much related to that what is righteousness, that she kills everything immediately if that is not correct according to the law. And she has this symbol, the serpent Uranus is coming out from her forehead, and that is about the great power, Shakti power or mother power, which is coming into existence. And that's why it is kept in the core, in the root for us, that it is not let come out, because this power will kill everything what is impure. That's why this full rising of the Kundalini can happen when we have mastered our human states, that we have become perfected human beings on the 5th degree. Only then can this Kundalini really rise, because otherwise it will just destroy. So she was called the power or might, and is coming from the ancient Egyptian word shm. And all of this, we see this shm, they are like the serpent language. Is this all what is related to sh? What are they? Words, little. What is that? The short thing than word, Michael? What that is called in English?
Syllable.
You mean syllable?
Syllable, right? Yes, shm was the syllable. And this lion is expressed when we study all over the planet. Just few things going to the Babylonian times. It was one of the Ishtar's or Inanna's sacred vehicles. It is appearing in Buddhist tradition as a great Dakini. It is in Vedic tradition, goddess Durga. All of those are telling about these powers, and all of that is telling also how lion, the energies of the Leo are so important in order of the development of the personality. And in the end, this energy is going to make us the way that it can be used with this higher power, where this the feminine figure for us can express or tell us about the solar angel. For me, it is the solar angelic story around the world when we study this connection, the feminine figure and the lion. And it is really found everywhere, and it's fascinating to study. So for Egyptians, the calendar was related to the sacred times and moments, what we have totally lost. And it is really sad. It's really, yes, it is a sad thing that DK talks about scientific living. And this is scientific living, when we can go into the mysteries which are related to the real facts in the sky, in the heavens, that we have been marking times when anything happens in our cosmos, and with the relationship with those great beings, heavenly men, as DK is calling them. So there you see some examples of this, those moments. And do you see actually my mouse there? Is it moving in? It is, okay. Do you see these little 5 pointed stars? These are the Sirius energies, Sirius effects. When you see this star, 5-pointed star, for Egyptians, it was Sirius. We could talk about a lot about this, but okay, I just go ahead and give us just a little insight. So when we talk about the mystery of Isis, or this ritualistic cult of Isis, we talk about the mystery of Osiris. Osiris was the husband of Isis. So Osiris is expressing about he was the god of underworld, and almost every single one of those gods are underworld gods. And we have to understand that because we are on the cosmic physical plane, we are still cosmically in underworld. So our gods as well are the gods of underworld. So was Osiris, but Osiris is also indicating the human being or the personality. And Isis, so Sirius, is the power which is awakening the personality, or awakening that consciousness which is bound in the matter, which has to be released, what has to be uplifted. So the whole thing was again about the how, and the mystery was about how Osiris is sewn back, because his brother Set was dividing him into 14 pieces. So the 14 is very much related to this whole Egyptian mystery. What Michael can relate to all those suns, the mystery number of the suns, with how our sun is related. There's something about that. We had 14 schools which are telling about us that these 14 different sections has to be now put together, or 14 is related to the human living in that sense, that how we have been separated, and that has to be brought back. This divine is expressing itself via these 14, or the 14 is the method how this, what has been separated, is able, or that great knowledge is going to be understood when this all 14 sections are really studied. So when when Isis was bringing Osiris back into life, it tells about this some kind of 14 steps of the initiation. We have like the 5 initiations, and then we have 7, or we can find 9. But this 14 is very much related to this, how these suns are pouring their light, and what was considered and acknowledged in Egyptian mysteries. One could talk more about that, but if we keep just our mind that the mystery was telling about how Osiris is going to be risen, like the Christ was risen. So only a few things about Isis again. Oh yes, and that thing is important for us to understand, that every year during the time of the Leo, and especially of course the Leo full moon, those great energies are available. Those kind of like resurrecting energies, we can think about in the time of the Aries, where these the same thing is happening, the same story is happening around the Christ. But then when we study Egyptian myths, and there's something about that we may contemplate, what does it mean? Because the same idea we will find in Leo time, where these actually that time when the sun moves into Leo. That is that there are 5 days which were very sacred days for Egyptians, and it is somewhere like 17th of January. No, sorry, 17th of July was considered that Isis was born. It meant that then Isis was rising above the horizon. And that was the marking of the ceremony, how the Osiris is risen as well, how Isis is bringing life into the ground, meaning because the Osiris was spread around the ground, and then when Isis was functioning through the body of Osiris, all green things were growing, the life was moving, and that is like indication of that, the Syrian energy, the magical powers of Isis, she was using the powers of a serpent in order to bring into life. So there are all these mysteries of Kundalini also related to that moment. And then July the 17th and 5 days in that is these very mysterious times. And I think they must come back then when the Leo full moon is going to be celebrated, one of the most important festivals in the future. And only disciples and initiates can respond now to these greater energies, or even fakely be aware. So we have the mystery of the goddess and the sun. Isis was related to birth, life, and death. All of these three aspects in life. What we have in mysteries as well, when we follow the mystery process, that there is death, there is this new birth, and then we get the eternal life. And that is in that symbolism of Virgin soul, what you have here on the right, which has the 16 spokes or rays coming from the sun. This is the symbol of union of the mother and the son. And it is relating us to the throat center. So when you think about that the humanity is the throat center, the planetary center. So we have something, what is our mystery work, to connect mother and the son and make the union with that via the word. Isis is the goddess of who was related to the birds, and especially for water birds and ibis. And this ibis bird is the symbol of thought, the god of letter, the god of word, incantations, and sacred mantras, as well as Isis. So this is the very good time of using mantras when we consciously try to relate to these energies, even though we cannot respond to the energies of Sirius consciously, and we cannot register them, but these are available, and in alignment with the group, there can be made changes if we really seriously take that and understand it, what is possible to be done, because this is very magical time, or truly magical time. And then in those mysteries, I'm sorry, I'm not going through these mysteries at all step by step, because I recognize that there has to be a real time to study them, but just for a little window, that there was in that mystery of unveiling Isis. And that was one of the great moments of this Isaac initiations, what was taken during that time. And also let us remember that Master Serapis, who is called the Egyptian, in those times they were very often expressed standing together or being even married, and they were expressed many times as serpents. These serpents had human head, the head of the Isis and head of the Serapis Bey, but the rest of the body was serpent. And it is telling about this serpent line, which is, in my opinion, it is coming from the Sirius, not only from Venus, but this whole line. And it is telling something about the secrets of the solar angels, how this serpent figure is related to that, or the flame figure when they were descending, the living flames. Few things about Isis is that remember the symbolism. Whenever you see this kind of figure where you have a feather on the top of the head, that is not Isis. This is goddess Maat, who was the lawgiver. And here is interesting, it is a woman, feminine figure, which is expressing the fundamental law. The fundamental law was very much related to the fourth ray. It was about the balance in everything. All the time, the life was going towards the balance, that human being is living in balance with the nature, with the sky, with the earth, in everything. And that's why the whole life was and is about sacred, holy life, as Sirius is making everything mundane holy. So there you see on the right now Isis, which she very often has the throne on the top of her head, indicating the initiations. But then Isis has also other symbolism on the top of her head. I'm not going into that, but anyway, they are telling about the processes in initiation, the stages of initiation. But they are so mixed when you go into the internet and try to find these images. There is absolutely amazing mess going on, and it is our teaching is helping us to straighten those things out. Isis is all the time, I just wonder what has happened to this. Sorry, there's something happening to this slide. It is Ankh, which is this sacred object what Isis is carrying, and she was the one who was giving that to everybody. It is some kind of a thing what is given then when you are initiated, and it is its hieroglyphical meaning is life, and it is also represented as a mirror. So in the mystery rituals of Isis, mirror was used, and the mirror is very strong symbol, because it's like that only via mirror you can look your own self. That's why the mirror is so important, and it is a huge mysterious symbol. You can contemplate that. And let us always remember that Venus, the symbol of Venus, is very much related to that Ankh, which means the life. So the symbolism of that is telling about that the eternal life is given us. Venus is helping us into that. But also that wherever we have Venus, it is mirroring ourselves. So think about that mystery. So now in the initiation mysteries, we have to take in consideration of Sirius B. So Sirius A is Isis. The symbolism of her is the throne, telling about that she is the initiator in one very large sense. But then Sirius B is her helper, the sister Nephthys, which has the eye as the symbolism of her. I just quickly have for you that actually Sirius B is very much the same size as our planet Earth. But when Isis started, or when the initiation process ritual started, then appeared the eye, and that was the presence of the Nephthys, the sister of Isis, Sirius B, who was indicating now, or the moment, that now the initiation is starting. So I just leave here that we all could think about what are mysteries for you. Now this time when it is the time of the Leo full moon, it's the more potent time of mysteries. There are some lines which are related to our Earth, its position, then that there must be some that kind of lines of energies pouring into our planet, that why this moment is a important initiatory for us. This is beautiful image of Francis Donald, and you can think about that, reflecting in your mind about this whole mystery which is, and mysteries which are taking us back to our source where we came. So, thank you. Oh, it was a little bit long.
No, thank you to you. It's so informative. Johi, maybe you can click your, yeah, you got it. Okay, so so much that we can learn here that tie in with our present initiation ceremonies. You could spend more than one life studying Egyptian occultism, and we would find out the roots of so much we expect to be practicing on the physical plane before so very long. So, Alexander, did you want to, and Katya?
Yes. Thank you to you. And it's very important question of what are mysteries for you, what are mysteries for us. And I very resonate with what you said at the beginning, that the mysteries, it's expression of that life energy that's pouring, expressing it through symbols. It's not exactly the words how you said it, but how it resonated for me. So it's actually, it's a life process. It's of expression happening in the moment. And it's about recognition, that note of what is life at the moment, that allows that entrance into the mystery. Mysteries are always closed, as you said, but they're closed for kind of direct reading. You can only recognize it through resonance, through that electric resonance, and entering into the mysteries through the resonance of recognition. One of the mysteries that Tibetan talks about is the mystery of the cycles. He says that this mystery is revealed only for high initiates, and it's one of the mysteries revealed at the more advanced initiations. He also says that actually the sign of Aquarius is related to the mystery of cycles, and the actual hieroglyph of Aquarius, the two waves, it's the waves of cycles. That's and a lot about that mystery will be revealed through this cycle of Aquarius, he says, through the in the age of Aquarius. we all collectively, we all together live through the expression, through the emergence of the mystery of the world group, the new group of world servers. In a way, we were playing the mystery of the forerunner, and that's the name or Tibetan gave to the new group of world servers. And at the end of last year, we came together during the festival week of the new group of world service as one world group, meditating on the live event of the mystery of the festival week. And it was a collective experience that we all lived through. And the first mention, the first information given to the public about the world group, the new group of world service, was in 1935. And 2019, it was the 12th festival week since then. And 1935 was the first festival week that Tibetan mentioned. Sorry, I said that the information about the new group of world service might be not correct information. It's the first mention of the festival week. It was in 1935, but was suggested to observe that. And every 7 years, the festival week happens. And 7 years, it's related to the cycle of Uranus. And we know that Uranus is the planet of discipleship, and it's related to the new group, the world group. And last year, 2019, it was the moment that Uranus entered to Taurus, at the same sign where it was in 1935. So in a way, Uranus went through the whole cycle of 84 years and opened the new cycle, bringing the new group to the new, we can say, the new level of unfoldment. And that's the mystery that I see is unfolding now. After the festival week in December, in the following month, sharing with many in our group, there was a similar experience that I could hear from many of us, and it was my impression as well, that it's we came to the new phase. It's a new phase of unfoldment. So what is this? What is this new phase of unfoldment? What are this new cycle? This festival of Leo Sirius is the first Sirius festival of this new 7-year cycle. And I think it's a good time for us to be together and to reflect on what is actually now seek to manifest, and together collectively to recognize what is that new notes that unfolding now, what is that new unfoldment of the fractal of the world group. There was a strong impression that the previous 7 years, between 2012 and 2019, it was time when the esoteric segment of the world group came into, in a way, mobilization, activization. And our task was to recognize each other and to recognize the inner unity. And probably we can say that to a certain degree we succeeded in that. And when we come to this current, the new 7-year cycle, 2019 to 2026, what is the task now? What is this mystery of this 7 years? my impression is that this time, this 7 years, it's the same task of recognition should be happening with the wider group of world servers, including all segments or all the groups that constitutes the new group of world servers, not just esoteric groups. So it's the task of recognition. When Tibetan gives the definition of the new group of world service, he says that it's one of the definition he gives is it's a recognition of unity of purpose, inner recognition of unity of purpose. I think the task for us now as the group, the wider group, is to come to recognize that we are subjectively connected and we work for the same purpose. And that's purpose, it's advancement of humanity. And that's this 7 years, it's about that recognition of that inner buzz. So that's, there is this common work and we work for the same. That by the year 2026, the wider group could be prepared to work together during the festival week of 2026. And then, of course, there is this magic of the 2025, of the year of the hierarchical conclave, which I think we don't really have much to do with. I don't think we will be invited there, but our work, we have still to do our work, because that work will be in a way assessed as a part of the preparedness of humanity for the next phase of the unfoldment of the plan. And what this task for this 7-year cycle ahead of us means for us esoteric groups. I think it's a new level of integration with the purpose and the new level of expressed functionality. I don't know how to put it in the words right, but it's about that each of us recognizes the inner sound, inner purpose of own group. Yes, we are one group in a way, but each of us has our own small cell group. And each of those small cell groups has own node to recognize and manifest. And in a way, it's our task to shift to the next level, that the world group could come, kind of, just to vacate the space where we were last 7 years for the world group to come together. And it's still for us to recognize what is that task for us as esotericists. It's still for us to together to meditate and share, and through the bringing together each one of us a small puzzle of that understanding, we could build it to the bigger understanding of that. Something that just started really buzzing for me the last few weeks, it was the importance of the 4th stanza of the Great Invocation, that the plan has to work out from humanity. That's from the center, which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out. In telepathy, on the section when he talks about this signs of contact, the occult signs of impression, he says that the plan is a dynamic substance, providing the content of the reservoir upon which the impressing agent can draw and to which the recipient of the impression must become sensitive. The plan is a dynamic substance, providing the content of the reservoir upon which the impressing agent can draw and to which the recipient of the impression must become sensitive. It's on page 118 through 123. And he emphasizes the importance of this understanding that the plan is a substance, it's an energy substance. And then he says that it is this planetary substance upon which the impressing agents must draw. And those are the Manichaeans, the members of the hierarchy, and the working disciples of the world, plus all spiritual sensitives of a certain degree. So it is our work together with other recipients to draw that substance of the plan and hold it focused in our group meditation, making it available to the world group and to the rest of humanity. This time, as we work with the distribution phase of the Leo energy, we come to very, in a way, important anniversary, 75th anniversary of atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. There is not a very easy statement that Tibetan gave in interpreting this event, saying that it's one of the most important spiritual events of the 20th century. Please, Michael, correct me if I'm citing it wrong. So how do we understand that statement? That's event that ended the World War. And in a way, that's an event that closed the door where evil dwells. In the same fourth stanza is that from the human kingdom, the plan has to work out and that it would seal the door where evil dwells. That's the seal of this door has to come from humanity. And humanity is not yet at the stage where it can focus its will sufficiently enough for that. But the world group can. World group can focus intention and will to close the door. If world group could come in the focused intention of closing that door, the powerful weapons and disasters not going to be needed because the world group can achieve the same purpose without distractions. So it is our choice and our responsibility to focus the will that would deliver the same effect that was achieved 75 years ago. Thank you.
Over to me. And the quotes that Alexander was reading, it's from page 119. in telepathy. So to continue with that idea of strengthening of the group, strengthening of the group as a new group of world service, and at the same time strengthening the principle of the group consciousness and group initiation. I believe that that would be the next step. My impression is that the next 7 years are going to be very much defined by our ability to work together as a group, and in group formation. And the energy of Leo is amazingly potent and supportive of that process. So what I would like us to do is, as a group, to connect with that energy and as a way of scientific living, just to preserve that connection and project it for the next 7 years, so that energy will be a vibrant force supporting our group work. And also, it's interesting when Tu was talking, a thought came to me that all those Asian mysteries, they are multi-level. So in a way, we might be shifting between certain levels, like initiations, step by step, getting to a newer connection with those Asian mysteries. And also there was a thought on mirrors. Because a broken mirror does not reflect the reality. So fragmented whole does not reflect the reality accurately. So group might be that process. Group work is that process of making fragments whole and then reflecting the light, projecting that light, and also building the capacity to overcome the past. And that's about it, I guess. Thank you. Over to you, Michael.
Thank you, everybody. That was Sasha, Katya, to you. It was so enlightening, and I feel a very strong Aquarian note sounding at the moment. We are in the period of Aquarius, or rather Leo Aquarius. It just so happens, and those are the two signs which are of utmost importance, providing the axis for the new age. I think what I would like to say is I love dear?
Say a few things.
Oh, okay.
About these cycles, what Sasha...
I'll wrap it up. Okay, just go ahead.
But yes, about these cycles, what Sasha was just bringing forward, it is so important for us to try to understand and tune in and look about these cycles, because when we are living these times of the last years of the Forerunner, it is also related how planet Earth is related to in the bigger wholes. And just pointing out about the Uranus, that when Uranus went into the sign of Aries, what can be like looked at the starting time, at the same day happened for Fukushima, right? So there was again in this kind of atomic phenomenon in Japan, which is very interesting to think about beyond all that, what all these things are meaning. But in relationship with this, like co-creating and being now consciously with everything now, understanding that now when we came into incarnation together, we are ought to do something during these last years. And in that sense, coming together and thinking together, trying to understand this mystery. The mystery is also, which is opening, unfolding. So revelations goes forward according to that, how the consciousness is rising. So that we come together, we breathe together, we try to see together. Everybody has to bring their own little part of it into this bigger pot of the soup, that it is going to be wonderful and tasting great. We have this sometimes to cook this soup together. So that's why the mystery is here, that everyone is needed for that. Even they say that it's not coming a good soup if there are too many cooks, but may the Christ be the cook and we be the ingredients. So everybody jump into that pot of soup.
Thank you. As a person with a lot of Cancer in my horoscope, I can appreciate the analogy here. This Aquarian spirit that is sounding now between the groups, and I think Sasha and Katya focused very much on that, is a very uplifting and promising possibility. As a matter of fact, it is a necessity. And I only want to add one thing to that, because I have the feeling that it will work out correctly over the next 5 years and into the terminal point, 2026, where we'll have the celebration again of the new group of world servers. I somehow deeply trust the direction the groups are moving, and I think after many instances of unnecessary separation and competition and misunderstanding and all those kinds of things that happen at the strictly human level, that the soul infusion has proceeded to such an extent that those things will be left behind, and that the new group of world servers will be able to set an example for humanity of the kind of group work that must emerge in the Aquarian age. We have the externalization of the hierarchy, wonderful book, okay? I've just finished some commentary on that, so I had to really study it closely. And DK said, of all the things that I've said, the most important thing that I've said is to alert people to the founding of the new group of world servers, and of course to the externalization of the hierarchy and the reappearance of the Christ. These two factors stand as the most important teachings I have given. And I think we're on the right track when it comes to sharing skillfully, with each other, maybe at a deeper level, but with as many people as we can reach, sharing the ideas that come forth from the idea that there is a new group of world servers. What is it? Men and women of goodwill, new group. And there is a deeply occult movement, which is promised for millions of years, really, ever since hierarchy had to retreat or decided that mankind should stand a little bit more on its own 4 million years ago after the Great Battle. And we're still experiencing the effects of that battle. We know that World War II and one as well was a continuation of that battle. So now is a very, very special time of re-emergence. And the one thing that I want to add to all of this excellent group spirit and this capacity to understand each other, which I think is growing all the time, is, I would just say, and I say it to myself all the time, deepen your occultism. Deepen your spiritual occultism, because there is a unique power from behind the scenes and from within of the, let's say, the somewhat more advanced members of the new group of world servers to work in occult ways which are very, very effective. It has, nothing to do with the, spooky stuff that people think occultism is. It has nothing to do with lower magic. It has nothing to do with anything selfish. It has to do with how the masters work, using occult techniques. So, we each have our part to play. And one of the things that Tuya and I hope to be involved in is to make it possible for people, with respect to their illumined mind, to deepen their occultism. It is possible in 5 years, such a good number, to really be ready for what Master DK is going to present as the third installment of bridging treatises into the actual new age and the beginning of the Aquarian age, technically considered, in 2117. And then the kinds of things Tuya was talking about, which were so ancient, will be able to be bridged into, let's see, what I could call, let's see if I can get there. Okay, I'm just, yeah. Into the modern approach to initiation. Now, if it's been a while since any of us has read Initiation Human and Solar, it's not just a preliminary book. There is such depth in that book that when you go through 30 years of work with Alice Bailey and the Tibetan, if you don't have some of the occult foundation that is expressed in Initiation Human and Solar, we won't be able to complete the picture. All of us are, if we are true disciples, and remember every true aspirant has taken the first initiation, which is, likely when you continue with this kind of work. Every true disciple is being prepared for initiation. And the things that we're going to, I'll just say briefly, the things that we are going to face internally are like those ancient mysteries that determined your next incarnation, and whether your soul would be eaten by the crocodile when it's weighed against a feather, all those things that Tuya has emphasized so much. The inner mysteries, they are transformed into a new and modern presentation. And these are the 5 things which internally will be occurring for us as we fulfill our promise of discipleship. There will be a revelation of the presence, and it will intensify with each initiation. A vision of the way ahead will be presented. The initiator, be it the Christ, as it will be externally during the age of Aquarius, or be it Sanat Kumara after the 3rd degree or at the 3rd degree, there will be the application of the rod of initiation. And it will affect the bodies, the centers, and the causal vehicle. So it's a tremendous inner energy event. These are really mysteries that will work out in our sense of the constant presence of the mysterious on the outer plane. Then there will be the administration of an oath which we must take and dare not break. And modern Masonry certainly reflects this very strongly. If you're not ready to take the oath internally, then you're just not ready. And that's something that, we may shy away from and say, oh my gosh, that's really pretty demanding. Yes, it's demanding. And finally, you're given the secret and the word of that degree, so you are ready to move forward. Now, these are the inner mysteries, just summarized here quickly. An extension of the ancient mysteries about which Tui was talking, and giving us the chance to work together and with humanity in a powerful, esoteric manner. And that's where the new group of world servers comes in, and all of our love for each other, our shared light, our shared consciousness, our shared sense of being. All these things fit together. And the opportunities, as tough as it may be on the outer plane during the next 5, 6, 7 years, the opportunities are tremendous. So that's all I'm going to say, about the thing that I think must be added to group work of the kind that we are trying to undertake. Deepen your knowledge of spiritual occultism. It's going to take some labor to do it, but it can be done. Now, yes.
Michael, just a little point about the ancient mysteries. We say ancient wisdom teaching, the same way these so-called ancient are just modern as well, because they are the landmarks. They are the universal symbolism. That's why they will never get old. They are just for us telling that this is now the route what we are going to take.
Yeah. And in Masonry, the reflection of all of this, in many ways, there's something called the ancient landmarks that always are your guideposts, and they will always be there as together with the group, you go through the elevatory initiation process. Now, we do want to have time, don't we, for those who are attending to have a chance to say a few words. Obviously, can't be too long, or we'll make good on our threat to meet for 10 hours here, you know. And I think that Sasha and Katya have something at, is it 6 o'clock GMT? Is that correct?
We have another program, but I hope we're not gonna get too close to that time.
Yeah. I understand. And then Tuya has a presentation on the sacred pentagram at 7 GMT. It's not long, so we'll assure you on that point. So maybe we could now, what do you think, Sasha, Katya, open the floor for people to give their impressions, their thoughts, their questions, etc.
Sure.
So you can do that, and then you can kind of turn your video on when you talk, if you like, and turn it off when you're finished. And then at the end, we'll all appear and we'll have that group presence experience. Okay.
I want to ask if Antonella,
Yes, Antonella,
Wendy
yes.
Thompson have anything to share on this topic, please.
I know Antonella has a lot to say, but
Hello.
oh, there you are. Okay.
Hello.
So,
Hi. Well, I think you have said enough about the mysteries of Sirius and the possibility and opportunity that every year in Leo, in tandem, in couple with Capricornus, as we know, the unicorn and the Leo are the two aspects of the soul and personality. So we have every year this connection between the starting point of the year cycle, which is the Capricorn solstice, and exactly after a cycle, an heliocentric cycle of Venus of 225 days, we have again the same position of Venus in Leo. So there is a strong connection between the solar Isis, which is Venus, and the cosmic Isis, which is Sirius. And we have the heliocentric, the heliacal rising of Sirius with the sun at the horizon in Leo. Not going in details, but there are many signs of this connection between, it's like a proportion. Venus is to some Vulcan as Sirius is to Orion, which is the Egyptian Osiris. So we have the same mystery in the pyramids, and we have the same mysteries in the heavens. So I think that humanity and the new group of world service now is like in an initiatory room, and we have this opportunity of global events like COVID-19 or any other global events that oblige us to function and think as one body, also as one soul and as one person. So I think that the new group of world service is also through all the strata of humanity, through the intelligentsia, people who are and will try and have to find solutions to stay alive in a sense, or to get better in the future. We know that strong problems like climate or other issues are really urgent to be solved together. And we know that from one perspective, humanity is not ready to face these opportunities or challenges. But we know that we, as a new group of observers, have to assert the fact that we are going to solve any problem with the help and presence and identification with the hierarchy, because we are in our soul or higher the hierarchy on earth. So yeah, in Leo there is this strong assertion of I am that am I. So my sound, my note is to assert the fact that we can rule our planet as the lion rules its kingdom. And we have to demonstrate that we will be ready to the 2025 door and gate to demonstrate the resurrection, the renaissance of the fourth kingdom, or the fourth human hierarchy, or the fourth ray. So let it be. Thank you.
Thank you. That was excellent. Thank you, Antonella. Now, other people, let's see, who can, maybe one of our technical people can call, just alert us to who has their hands raised. Is that possible? And, or has written something in the chat box. Is either Michael Stacy or Michael Crow here?
Martha Gallagher, you mentioned Bridget Murphy will be speaking, and Wendy Thompson, if you have something to share.
Yeah, and be careful, Michael, talk up a little bit, would you, if you don't mind?
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Bridget Murphy is going to speak
Okay.
on behalf of Redirecting the Flow of Money, and Wendy Thompson, you're a co-host, as Alexander asked if you had something to say, so if you can unmute yourself manually if you have something to say.
So Bridget goes first, right?
Martin Dicer has a question.
Yeah, so we'll take one at a time. So you mentioned Bridget first, so let's go with Bridget, and then Wendy, and then Martin.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
Michael, this is where I talk about the our group. Is that correct?
I believe, Bridget, what you mean is that tomorrow we're going to have a ritual meditation where representatives of different groups are invited to participate, naming their group and naming and sounding the notes, synthesizing notes that their group received during Leo festival meditations. So is that
Okay.
what you mean?
No, so I don't have a question. Thank you.
Okay, but tomorrow, you know, the representatives of groups can speak about their activities, and we'll, you know, blend that all together in our little ceremony, because I know that what you're doing there is very important, and so with a number of groups. So let's do it. Now, this is for people who just want to, at this time, just say something, you know, about the general topic. There's been a lot of material come down, some of it technical, some of it very group oriented, and so forth. So,
So Michael, I would just say this idea of the groups being more connected, I have certainly sensed that myself, and our meditation, and in fact, in all our meditations in the groups that I meditate with, we join as a large group. So to me, the scaffolding is there, and this is a wonderful direction. Thank you for putting this together.
Yeah, that's great. You know, so tomorrow we'll take that up just a little bit more, you know, if possible for people, and then we'll get that sense of the amalgamation of the groups, just the way we have it for the souls of nations, you know. Souls of nations not only have to express what they've got, they have to come together. And so same with the groups. And what did DK talk about? Covering the earth with verdure, he said. And each one of these groups is part of the green that covers the earth for its own health. So we'll take that up tomorrow. And thank you, Bridget. Okay, who's next then?
Martin?
Yeah, Martin is fine, and yeah. And does everybody know how to release themselves? There you go. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you, Michael and Tricia, Alex, for the presentation. And I also wonder, you know, what is the role of esoteric groups nowadays in the 21st century? And probably what you have shared has to do with that, right? With the restoration of the mysteries of this awareness that we have a sacred origin, and there is a lot hidden in terms of consciousness for us, and symbols can help us a lot. So I think it's been very, at least for me, very useful to remember that. And probably some other things in these 7 years to come after the festival week. I am also wondering what is the next step, so to say. I see that we probably will be here and there working maybe more in the outer field, and we need to to ponder on the role of the esoteric groups in particular. Perhaps has to do with this interaction, but I still do not know. But I wanted to thank you for the presentation and this opportunity.
Thank you. We're all going to know more before long. So, you know, obviously we're going to grow in this particular work, and DK will have his eye upon us. So let's grow well during these next 5 years and be able to really set the stage for that magnificent teaching that's coming, and that will wrap the bow around the present and be ready for the big events around 2017. Thank you. And who was it that was, I'm sorry, just who had raised their hand or had something to say? There was Bridget, there was Martin.
There was no one else, unless Wendy
No one
did want
else?
to share something when Alex asked her. Alexander.
I mean, you can, you know, anybody now in the group can offer to share a thought, a comment, a question, whatever. It's very rich material. I mean, you know, sometimes I just say, oh gosh, how will we ever assimilate all this? Well, the answer is we will not, but we'll assimilate a little bit at a time and grow in the great teaching. So who else would like to
If nobody
talk?
else as long
You go ahead, if you want to.
yes, I would like to say that it's interesting, the mystery that Tuya was talking about, the Persephone and I forgot her.
Persephone, yeah.
Stephanie.
No, Persephone and Demeter.
Demeter, yeah.
Persephone and Demeter.
It's interesting to me that this notion of life coming out of this, like inner life captured, right? Then manifested through that growth that we call green, right? And that life that is manifested has its own life, which is connected with the inner, but it's already different. So to me, that is just this notion of liveliness that is the essential mark of the group work, the true group work, which on the group being is alive and vibrant, and therefore can be part of this occult service. And that is the uprising of that energy. I think to me it is very important, and I could see that happening. I'm very grateful because that mystery, it's interesting how what you were talking about, Tuya, was bringing in certain elements of recognition, and it just really amazing. And I wish we could have like 2 more hours to listen to that, because it is nurturing. It is on a very practical level. And you think that listening about something so ancient and very interesting, but it's not just intellectually interesting, it is energetically nurturing. And I appreciate that. The same as an occult science is energetically nurturing, and then builds up that our capacity to actually live that and be that and radiate that. So thank you. And please,
Yes.
please
Thank
share.
you.
Yes.
I think Michael, if you mute your microphone. Yeah. So I think when we think about that our planets and the fourth globe and all this force, the fourth ray is so much about indicating about humanity. Many minds are on that line. So we understand somehow via these allegories and via these divine plays, because they are always about life. And that's why it's nurturing, because they are hitting something in us via the symbolism, which is directly affected or aligned with our etheric field. Because our etheric body is built upon those or from those little elementals, which are going to be affected by the symbolism because they are universal. That's why they are like landmarks, and that's why the mysteries, ancient mysteries, are never ancient, because they are always modern, because they are those corner points, they are those landmarks along way we go. Like, I don't know, what is the route 66 in America, and every single country has this main line. I don't even know, is that the main route, this 66, but I just remember from school that you have this very important road, which is called Route 66. And we have here E4, which is the road which is going through the whole Europe. So it's like these landmarks are landing or marking for us this main road into spirit, back to spirit. That's why they are so important. And it is very important to understand symbolism. Do you remember what DK said in the initiation mystery, in the initiation ceremony, that it is reflected from the Hierophant via the symbol what is supposed to be happening or what is our role. That's why we are needing to learn these symbols, that they are implemented in our consciousness, that we learn it, because it's only 1 cent. So we have to be ready, and we have to cultivate our faculties the way that we are able to pick up. That's why I understand it's so living all the time. It's about living life. And then these mysteries, in my opinion, is about that how we are contacting the reality immediately, because there is this energetic line all the time. And going back to your what we were discussing about the modern and this present moment, we cannot see at the moment. We have to understand that we absolutely cannot see at the moment what is exactly the thing. This is the 7-year cycle, which goes 7 years. And during that time, we are collecting within us enough matter, substance, that we are able to really then create that vision of these 7 years. We are only in the beginning of this cycle. but it is important because it is the last years. It's so important that we come together, we share all the time together, as this prophecy of the Hopi Indians were, that the humanity has come now to the point that it cannot evolve if not all the tribes or all the groups come together and stand in the sacred circle and announce from their point of view the wisdom. And only then we can see together, and only this how humanity can now evolve, because we have reached the consciousness of a tribe or a smaller group, but now we are going towards the global consciousness and understanding.
Excellent, thank you. And I remember it was Wendy that had her hand raised earlier. Wendy, are you there? Or did you still want to speak?
She didn't have her hand raised. Alexander asked if she had something to share, so I put her as co-host in case she did.
Okay, I thought that there was something there that she had to share or wanted to share.
Wendy is in Australia and it's very late at night, or should I say very early in the morning. But Wendy is part of the Global Silent Minute Initiative, and they are part of the movement that brings different groups around the world together around this anniversary, 75th anniversary of atomic bombing. And every year in Japan, the entire country, they stop for 1 minute in silence, commemorating the exact minute of bombing in both cities. But this time, this year, it's different groups organized that people around the world would come in stillness, in the moment of stillness. And I think it's, in a way, it's part of that movement to come together as one tribe. So any initiatives like this create this collective awareness and collective focus, that moment of synchronicity where we can actually work and function as that one family, as one united tribe. And I think that's part of that unfolding mystery of our times, that we more and more learn to work as united humanity. And that's what definitely resonates with me as recognition of this, what we're talking here about.
Yeah. And I just wanted to add that with that moment, significant moment, when the attention of the group is drawn, the hierarchy gets it's my understanding that the hierarchy gets the report, so to speak, of our level of awareness on the issue. And I think that's the observation part that is important, that we observe, and therefore in a group, via group consciousness and via the ashrams, this gets to be understood and not understood. I don't know the technically, and that is like Michael's, like deepen your cultism. Yes, that is good to actually really understand how it's functioning. But the main idea is that if we report, if we observe and participate as a group, it's a different kind of capacity. And another. Yes, thank you. That was about the moment of that we don't have the vision at the moment. That's true. And that's why the mirror comes, because through the mirror you can see backward. You can see behind. And at the same time, you can see that. You can see the past through the mirror, and you have a vision of the future, and you connect the third point, which is the capacity or potency of the now. And now we're standing in the Leo full moon of 2020, And that energy is potent. So if we add 3 points together, we have a path. It's like Sagittarian movement. We see the goal and we realize how we're going to reach it. Yes. Thank you. Well done.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
see Michael.
Yeah.
Yes, Michael.
I see
Yes.
Diane Chong unmuted.
Yes.
Did she want to share something?
Diane, did you want to?
No, not at this time. I have greatly appreciated the reiteration. And for me, it's to say it afresh again and to say it afresh again one more time. It awakens me more and more. It awakens the greater us in me. So thank you so very much to all of you.
I like that phrase, awakens the greater us in me. That's so good. That's so good. Let's see. So is there anybody else that would like to speak or question, or we're reaching that point of the 2-hour point. It would make Sasha happy if we actually ended on time, but it would make me very unhappy, as I usually am. Unless we run over, I'm not happy. Anyway, is there anybody that has further thought that you would like to share or question? It's a huge subject, and basically we have a certain interior responsibility with respect to the various ashrams we are approaching, so that one day, like the Tibetan students, we can all stand together on the periphery of perhaps the training ashram of Master DK, and eventually be assigned to our own home ashram once a certain degree of attainment is achieved. We have to, I'm repeating myself here, but deepen everything we do now, and it's tremendously responsible work. And this whole energy of love is the next emergence of the planetary soul. And this is what the reappearance of the Christ and the externalization is all about, extracting the energy of love into the substance of humanity. Now and wisdom too, wouldn't hurt, So we're not there yet, but we understand something about it, and we can help people understand something about it and have a more realistic view of what's really going on the inside, so that they can drop childish notions and begin to accept in some measure the inner esoteric reality. It's not that esotericism is for everybody, and people like ourselves have to have skill in action as we try to explain, what it is we're all about. And many of us have families where it could begin right there, because that's often the hardest thing to do, is with a member of your own family to prove that perhaps you're not quite as crazy as they think you are. And, gradually the knowledge of a greater, a more realistic vision will emerge in the minds of many, and that will do a lot for preparing the way for the Christ. Is there anybody that would like to speak
Michael,
further?
there's a question.
There's a
John.
question. Okay.
Can you explain the mystery of the Sphinx, which Master DK mentioned in EA?
Yeah. Well, yes and no. The Sphinx had all these. Yeah, you know this one, right? What goes on 4 legs in the morning, walks on 2 legs in the afternoon, and on 3 legs in the evening. You know the answer to that one, right? And for instance, what does our illustrious sponsoring group think? What's the answer to that question? What goes on 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs in the afternoon, and 3 legs in the evening?
It's us, Michael.
Of course, it's a person, a human being.
Yeah, a human. Yeah, that's right. When I was a kid, I always used to say, why are beings human? I didn't quite get that it was a being. Exactly. It's man. And the Sphinx basically said, you don't pass me, I attack you unless you know yourself. So here we have the 2 ways of looking at it. Sometimes we look at the head of the woman and the body of the lion. So we have the supervising higher power of love and wisdom, supervising the king of beasts, who is the lion. And DK tells us the mystery of the higher and lower mind in one way. But from another perspective, if you turn it around, which I think you can do, you have the lion as the glorious transfigured soul. And Virgo is the woman, in this case, representing the entire personality nature, which has to be controlled not by the king of beasts, but by the glory of the soul will control the presence of the personality. So it can be looked at in both ways. And it's the key to our identity, is what the Sphinx really is, the higher and the lower pairs of opposites. It tended to be, there's an asteroid called Sphinx, and it confers the tendency to ask unanswerable questions, or questions that are very difficult to answer. And I do think it works. I have it exactly on my midheaven, and I've always been asking questions I can't answer and nobody else can answer. At least, well, someone else can answer, of course. You know, Master DK can answer some of these things. But we have to, the Sphinx is the symbol of the mystery of man. And unless we know ourselves, we will be torn apart as we try to cross the path of the Sphinx. The lion part does that. So there's much more to it, obviously, books and books on the Sphinx. So anybody want to add to that?
I would like to add to that, is that, again, as any mystery, it has many levels of interpretations, and any mystery, it's a formula, the same as in school. When we learn math or physics, we learn formulas that we can apply to different tasks. So if we look at this formula, this mystery of Sphinx in relations to humanity as this man, or like that combines lower and the higher, and how in the modern time, in this crisis that we live through, how this we can connect those and reconcile those. So that, I think for us, that's the esoteric occult students who strive to be focusing more the higher mind, the higher part of the Sphinx, it's the task to recognize the lower part of the Sphinx, the lower mind. And that's part of humanity that lives in greed, but also within ourselves as individuals, recognize that part that has greed, that's part that represent those extracting industries on this planet. That's businesses that penetrated throughout all economies around the world and all politics that's benefit from oil, and they don't want us let go from this oil addiction, and that's we keep polluting in our environment. It's the same part of the same. And so it's about that, and that when we recognize that, we look for the ways to reconcile that and still to appease that beast within us, not to decline him, but to find another way to feed them. Instead of oil, okay, you can benefit from something else. Of course, you don't want to die. Of course, you want to still get your wealth or whatever and just have good lives, but it probably can be smaller than what you're extracting now, or maybe you can benefit from wind and solar or something else. I'm just saying something, but it's about how we deal with recognizing that beast in us as a humanity and deal with that and find the way to reconcile it.
It's good. Yeah. It does have the larger perspective as well as the individual perspective. And of course, cleaning up the personality so that it can really reflect Ra, if you will. The great ray of the solar logos is what Virgo has to do. And we're entering an ecological age during the age of Aquarius, where all of these sun powers can come forward. So it's not just the woman controlling the beast, it's the other way around. It's also the great solar radiance that can be involved with Virgo. It's not represented symbolically that way in the Sphinx, but it is also a factor that we can blend the second aspect and the third aspect together. Our solar logos of love, wisdom, and a sign that was extremely powerful in the latter part of the previous solar system, which has everything to do with materiality and refining that materiality so we no longer have to pollute and destroy die in a polluted land, as it is said by the prophet Amos. So those two together, and they are in a way they are very near the beginning of the Chaldean zodiac. So there's different ways of, well, anyway, not into that, but the point is those two signs are very important together. So thank you for that. Okay, but books and books have been written on the mystery of the Sphinx. So we're just giving a little bit, maybe from DK, and the whole idea of having to align the great second aspect with the third aspect, which is a huge job right here on this planet now. It's a carryover from the previous solar system. We have a third ray hangover from the previous solar system, and we're in a second ray system. We have a third ray moon chain hangover, and we're in a planetary chain now, the Earth chain, which is going to emphasize the second ray. We've got to get the 2 and the 3 together. That's one of the big jobs right now. Okay, thank you, everybody. So are there any other thoughts that you want to put forward, or questions, etc.?
There's one comment of somebody who already left the meeting. I'll read it. It's thank you everyone for this thought-provoking meeting. My overall impression from it is that all like-minded groups, religions, charities, esoteric, etc. should unite to work more effectively for the divine plan. I appreciate that this has been covered in this meeting. Thank you again.
Great, great. That's one of the main things to emerge from this meeting, and maybe, maybe it's an example. I mean, I think a number of these examples are happening now, through the 2025 initiative, through your own groups, through what we're trying to do with Moria Federation and the USR and so forth. The masters, what's the word that he said? They are, it's not a word appalled, but it's like appalled. It's, they're not happy about all the divisions between groups. They're not happy about that because it really gets in the way. And I think under the Leo Aquarius influence, the fusing of the groups, at least in their intention, with a lot of different ways of working, but at least in their purpose, is on its way and is occurring. Okay, is there anything else? Is there anything that the sponsors, so to speak, would like to say? Tuya, Alexander, Katya, anything that you would like to say as I guess we close, more or less on time. I just don't know if we can live it down, keep being close to, on schedule.
I just want to say life is great and mysteries are great.
Hey, okay.
What to come?
Yes, unfolding.
Unfolding,
And
yeah.
unfolding, and hopefully we'll be able to create a next level 0.20, right? The upgraded version within ourselves, like for humanity, the upgraded version of that mystery. And yes, thank you everybody. It just was really, that was the word was used, thought-provoking. I would say it's intuition download provoking. We need to come up with some space to download, that.
Yeah, and maybe
amazing.
what we don't realize is that so many of us have already passed through one aspect of the inner hierarchical mysteries. Now, if you think about it, it's no small matter to pass the first initiation. But of the Tibetans group of 50, 51 students, something like that, there was only one out of all of that group who had, in the Tibetan words, failed to stand before the Christ. And all the rest of them had stood in the inner sanctum of the causal body and passed the first degree in the presence of the great initial initiator, Neptune, the Christ. And probably deep down in our subconscious, or maybe our superconscious, whichever way you want to go, there's probably so many of us, maybe all of us, who knows, who have the recollection of having participated in the first stage of what will be restored with the restoration of the mysteries in whether it's 100, 200, 300 years on the outer plane. So maybe we're just bringing it through now into our physical brain. And but we have a deep familiarity. I mean, if you've experienced the birth of the Christ in the heart, well, then you're technically a member of the fifth kingdom of nature, the kingdom of souls, and at least some of the preliminary mysteries are part of your experience. So, you can ponder on that. We don't remember those things. Maybe we don't even remember the second initiation. And one of the people who had passed the third initiation didn't, in DK's group, didn't remember it either. It's the brain, the stubborn brain, that doesn't reflect that or hold it, or somehow is not awakened enough to hold it. But we are not deep down unfamiliar with this whole question of the mysteries, and we are also now a part of that which is attempting to prepare humanity's consciousness for the emergence of these ancient yet modern mysteries that will elevate humanity in a very big way.
Mm-hmm.
So is that it then so far, right? Is that it? Because if it is it, we should at least have the great invocation to
Meditation.
Oh, I'm sorry. We should restore my memory to as a meditation. So I will be quiet now, I promise. Okay. And we'll go on with Tuya, and you know how to get your screen up there.
Unmute. So I think that now the screen is showing, right? There is a lion and Sirius.
There's a lion and a star.
Sirius. So let us all go within, and we can say within, go within and know that I am God. And because we are still having the time of the sacred time of the full moon in Leo, we align that as a group. And remind ourselves, this is the time when the hierarchy is turned towards the Shambhala and towards Sirius, about which the humanity is completely unaware. And we try, because of that knowledge, we try to be in silence before this great, vast reality. Maybe how we can somewhat resonate to that great inflow. Let us align with the pouring love and generate that from heart to heart and from mind to mind within the group. It is said that when Leo is turning towards the higher source and become in consciousness aware of the soul, Leo is going onto that burning ground in humility. Unselfishly. Can we as a group at the moment imagine that as a group we dare to step forward into that burning ground which will make changes? When we all stand in our responsibility before the ashram. Leo is the sign of courage. It is indicating the power. But behind that, it is even greater power, the spiritual powers. That's why we have the lion, which is holding its legs. The sarcophag was put on the chair which had the lion legs, the 4 lion legs, indicating about that when we are in that initiation chamber, which is reflected in the sarcophag. It is the learnings and acceptings in normal life which is carrying us forward through the initiation process. Envision the mystery indigo door, a disc. And know that is the mystery, the door into mysteries. Along the landmarks, how we can travel back safely. Mystery means that one cannot enter before the consciousness has reached the point that it can grasp and it knows. if we dare to step into the group burning ground, if we are willing, if the love is powerful enough, you see the eye is appearing and sent forth from the sun. And we can take that power, mysterious power, spiritual power, for the unification of the soul and the beast. When the beast is tamed, then we have all the possibilities on the lower worlds, which is the whole purpose of the pilgrimage of the Jiva. And which is revealed in the mystery of the Sphinx. I am. I am that. I am that, and that am I. If we dare to stand the burning ground, we are creating the new step, the next step into the mysteries which are relevant for this time. The mystery is always traveling within us and opening always what is present needed. It's only that if we have reached the stage to come to the co-workers of God in His hand, so to say, to co-create. But we are only catching that what is already there. In these sacred moments, we are given the possibility to see, look into the future through the door of mystery. Co-create or envision or see what is your next step. Thus, it will be the next step for the group. co-create, envision and see what is the next step for the group. Thus, that is your next step. Great invocation from the point of light within the mind of God. Let light stream forth into the minds of men. Let light descend on earth. From the point of love within the heart of God, let love stream forth into the hearts of men. May Christ return to earth. From the center where the will of God is known, let purpose guide the little wills of men, the purpose which the masters know and serve. And let us now envision how we are all standing in the sacred circle when we sound the fourth stanza. From the center, which we call the race of men, let the plan of love and light work out, and may it seal the door where evil dwells. Let light and love and power restore the plan on earth. May the blessings of the group rest upon you and yours on them. And may the mysteries be revealed. Thank you.
Thank you, Tuya. And maybe let's Katya and Sasha, if you could appear, and Tuya appear. Yeah, and Tuya, you appear. And just to say that tomorrow at the same time, isn't it? 1 p.m. GMT, we'll have our closing program in this kind of Leo Syrian group of programs. And I suppose Alexander, Katya, everybody who is coming to your presentation tonight at 6 p.m. GMT, they know about it, and or if you want to
Definitely remind, but yeah, it's the information, the invitation been shared widely.
Okay, great. And then Tuya has Sacred Pentagram fourth day at 7 o'clock GMT. And tomorrow morning, I guess it's going to be, it's a Wednesday, so it'll be the Science of Triangles at 5 a.m. GMT. At the usual YouTube, no, it'll be, gosh, what will it be? It's going to be the GoToWebinar link, I believe. Michael, Stacy, is that correct?
Yes, it's a webinar.
Yeah, GoToWebinar. And then, of course, our closing program with the little ritual that's being planned for the various groups tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And then when I say tomorrow, I mean, GMT mostly. And then the final day of the Sacred Pentagram work will be tomorrow at 5 p.m. GMT. And then we'll just be moving on with our various
7 p.m. GMT.
I'm sorry, is it going to be 7?
I think so.
Okay.
Yes, yes, 7 p.m. GMT for.
And that's tomorrow as well, right? So tonight and tomorrow, 7 p.m. GMT. Okay. Well, okay, our gratitude to all of you, and so good to be working with the 2025 Initiative Group on these programs now and then. Very happy about that. And we'll just continue to let the teaching go forth over the radio, as they say, this is the radio, okay? DK said it would happen after 1975. So for the last 45 years, we've been going forth over the radio. And let's learn what we have to learn. So great. And the whole team, love and light, and many blessings to everybody. The whole communications team, I know, sends to all of you those qualities as they try so hard to keep bringing you these presentations.
Michael tries to say to all of you that he loves you. He does not let you go. It was wonderful to be together.
Did you want everyone to open
Yes.
their videos?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yes, open your videos. We get the sense of the company that ISIS keeps. Or maybe it's Mott, I'm not sure. You can open, if you're still here, you can open your video and just say,
Thank you.
nice to see you, And yeah, well, I know you're there.
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe a little shy, huh? Let's see, do we, Michael, wait a second. Do we, hold on, I know what to press here.
Yeah.
This is, okay, nice to see you, Kiki, and hey, there's Stephen, okay, and we're on that, whatever it is, that blue square, tic-tac-toe bar, okay? You're welcome to reveal yourself. Or shall we keep it a mystery? Who is really present? Okay.
And for tomorrow, please have a candle for the ceremony.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're going to fire the world with the fire of love, you know, so bring your candle. What do they say? We won't be cursing the darkness, we'll be lighting a candle, right?
Yes,
Okay,
that's the plan.
that's the plan. Okay, and everybody else is in hiding. Okay. Hi, Vivian, nice to see you.
Just
Okay. Okay. Well, okay. I think we're at that time, and like they say that that 6/7 of humanity is out of incarnation, and only 1/7 is in. So that's kind of what it looks like right here.
Yes.
If you press the button, you're going to enter electronic incarnation. And everybody knows it's a lot more fun on the inner planes, right?
But there is a little dog also. Yes, Päivi, you have a new dog. We have a representative from the animal kingdom, brother or sister. Lovely.
Okay, friends. And now, so let's see. I suppose that it's Michael's that have to close down the recording.
Right. And love and blessings to all as we do our service in the outer world.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Big hugs.
Blessings.
Thank you.
Virtual hug.
Wow.
Yeah.